California has lots of well-known places like Los Angeles, home of Hollywood, Silicon Valley, where you'll find the headquarters for well-known companies, and of course, the Golden Gate Bridge, welcoming us to the beautiful and progressive city of San Francisco. But what about the important areas for food production? Well, one of my favorites is the Salinas Valley in Monterey County on the Central Coast region of the state. This is one of the most agriculturally intensive and productive regions in the world, and it's an area that's sometimes called the salad bowl of the world. It's called this because about half of the lettuce that's produced here is exported out of the U.S., and the rest of it is eaten throughout the country. Farmers here also produce lots of other delicious high-value crops. Now, another thing that makes the Salinas Valley unique and interesting to me is that it's the only place in the world where I've ever seen lettuce growing in cracks in the sidewalk, and billboards promoting organic produce with interesting and often humorous slogans. Speaking of organic, there's been a large growth in the organic industry here over the past several decades, and here's a figure that shows that. This growth is the reason that scientists like me were hired to do research to help organic farmers to develop more sustainable systems. My research here is focused on organic vegetable and strawberry production in systems that are tillage intensive and require lots and lots of inputs. Let me explain that a little bit more. So the high cost of agricultural land rent in this area puts a lot of pressure on farmers. For example, vegetable farmers typically have to grow at least 2 to 3 crops on each field annually to be profitable. And to do this, they use some of the most advanced agricultural techniques and tools in the world. For example, much of the land has been laser leveled to a uniform slope to reduce drainage problems. The crops are then grown at precise spacing on beds using GPS-guided tractors, and there's a heavy reliance on drip irrigation to conserve the precious groundwater that's pumped from aquifers far below the soil surface. Now, to help with irrigation management and reduce excessive fertilization, which has been a problem here for decades, many farmers are starting to use an online irrigation and nutrient management tool that links data from satellites to the soil. This is a great tool to improve the sustainability of organic and conventional systems here. While there are differences between organic and conventional systems in this region, there are also lots of similarities. For example, while a conventional farm can use synthetic forms of nitrogen fertilizers, organic farms rely heavily on the use of pelleted fertilizers made from waste products from animal production systems in other parts of the state. Winter cover crops do tend to be more common on organic than conventional farms, but many of the organic farms here also leave their fields fallow during the winter and rely on compost, usually made from yard waste, as a more convenient way to add organic matter to the soil. While there are small to medium-sized organic farms with more diversified rotations in this region, a lot of the production that's organic occurs on relatively large farms like this romaine lettuce field. One of the ways that you can tell that this field is organic is by these white patches. These are sweet alyssum flowers that are interplanted with the lettuce to attract beneficial insects like hoverflies that help to control pests like aphids. Now, another critical part of these intensive horticultural systems is the large number of people that are needed for planting, weeding, and doing a lot of other things, and then finally harvesting the crops before they're shipped off to market. So the next time you sit down to have a delicious and healthy salad, don't forget to think about the hardworking people in complex and intensive systems in places like the Salinas Valley that may have produced what you're eating.